we go through life thinking, that's not it. That's not it at all. There is something in all of us, a need for connection and love and truth and a sense of something beautiful beyond. And we can, if you're religious, you call it heaven, and if you're a humanist, you call it a full and achieved life. But you know that there's a hope for it. But if you mislabel it and think that it's connected with money or cars or mortgages or jobs or status, you're never happy because of your status, because of things you've achieved. Happiness comes from somewhere else.
My entire life, I was willing to disrupt my entire life to buy my future, to buy my possibility, to give my dream a chance. See, we're not supposed to tuck our dreams in on the pillow when we get up in the morning. We're not supposed to leave them at home and go and fulfill somebody else's dream. We're not supposed to do that. That's not what we're wired to do. That's not who we are. Your human spirit simply says, what's our command for tomorrow? What do you want to create?
As you go on to the next chapter, don't pursue profits, pursue purpose. Don't pursue the profits of where can you gain things in life. Pursue your passions and your purpose. Because what happens is a lot of times we go on to college or we go into the next chapter and we're only seeking gains. We're only trying to find out what we can get. Where can we find profits in our lives? You need to take time to figure out your why.
You got to start talking to yourself. The best way to motivate you is you got to start talking to yourself. Repeat these words after me. No one can stop me but me. No one can stop me but me. Here's the truth. No one can stop you but you. You need to talk to yourself. You need to encourage yourself. You need to strengthen yourself. Start waiting for other people. Stop waiting for other people. And you start encouraging you and saying to yourself, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. I'm down right now, but I'm not out. My condition is temporary. Only I can make it permanent. I'm not worried about you being down. I've been down myself. I'm not worried about you being down. You've been down before. We all been down. It's nothing new. But that out is what I worry about. Out means you gave up. Out means you lost hope. It's okay to be down, my friend. It happens to all of us, but it's not okay to be out. Don't you ever give yourself permission to be out. You may be down, but you're never out.
The right perspective makes the impossible possible. You cannot change the past, but you can always change your perspective.
One day I'll do this. One day I'll do that. But that day will never come because you have not made the decision to get started. The choice is yours. One day or day one.
You see, everyone wants to be successful, but most people aren't willing to make the sacrifices required to go from average to elite. You can't keep doing what you've been doing and expect to get different results.
What do you want? What do you believe you were destined to do? And then you got to spend every single solitary day for the rest of your life going after that dream.
But it all starts with you. One day or day one. The choice is yours.
There will be days when you don't feel like working towards your goal, but you can't make decisions based upon how you feel because your results are based upon what you do.
This is your life, and I need you to leave a legacy. Stand up, stand tall in the face of it all, and go do what you gotta do, starting right now.
And when you think there's nothing left in the tank, look yourself in the eye and say, I can, I will, I must. There are things that you have been called to do that you have never done. And there are things that you have been called to do that no one on earth has ever done.
That conversation that you're having with weakness is not going to build you. It's not going to push you. It's not going to lift you. You got to be responsible. You got to be capable. You got to be willing to work for what you want.
You're going to have days where you suck, but those days are so motivational. I mean, that's the bright side of tragedy. So when you come through it, you really will have an appreciation for the moments without tragedy. You don't really feel it unless unless life burns you. You don't really feel it.
Because motivation will get you going. A speech will get you fired up. But discipline is going to give you the power to stay committed to whatever that goal is.
You cannot ignore the small successes and the small wins because you just have your mind on, I gotta win now. You might have to scratch your calendar. That's right. I know you said, I gotta have this much money by the time I'm 23, and I gotta be at this place in my life by the time I'm 34, and I gotta be at this place in my life by the time I'm 40. And guess what? Sometimes your timeline isn't accurate. Sometimes your timeline is off. Sometimes your timeline has to be readjusted to reality. And the reality of the situation is that true success, true greatness takes time.
You are not here to play games. You are not here to make excuses. You are not here to owe it to someone else. You need to owe it to yourself because it belongs to you. This is your moment to shine. And if you're not willing to shine, then step aside. If you're not willing to work, then this is not the place for you. You got to toughen up. You got to look up. You got to build up. If you want it, this is the time to go get it. But you got to work for it. You got to believe in it. You got to trust in it. You got to let the power flow through the veins. The blood is real. The blood will push you. It's going to take you up and over the top.
And we stayed on the righteous path, the disciplined path. We stayed on the war path, which is right where you know that you belong.
I've had a lot of night owls who have said, I could never be a morning person. I've had a lot of people who've said, grandma couldn't get up early, grandpa couldn't get up early, my parents couldn't get up early, I don't have early rising genes, And what I would say is, if you don't read that book you've been resisting because you don't think it's for you, you might just miss your new favorite book. If you fall in love with your most closely cherished beliefs and you're not open to trying new things, you might miss your trying your new favorite food. If you say, well, here's the kind of friends that I hang out with and I'm not open to anyone else, you might miss that new friend or that new mentor who will transform the way you run your craft and live your life. And it's the same for the morning routine. So there are times to be productive and there are times to rest. Now, I very much believe in the 5 a.m. club and the 20-20-20 formula. I very much believe that it will create a pharmacy of mastery within your brain. It's been proven by science. Even just the simple idea of starting your day with some sweaty exercise. Why sweaty exercise? Is because when you sweat, it'll release the BDNF, which John Rady at Harvard calls miracle grow for the brain. But just that idea of exercising first thing in the morning will help you become more resilient, peaceful, strong during the day. So yes, do your morning routine. Yes, run the 20-20-20 formula, and then judge by results. Having said that, if you've been up at 3 a.m. because you've lost your job, because you're just picking up on the energy of the world right now where there's so much fear, self-love, personal care requires that you rest, recover, and do what you need to do.
I think anything a mind can conceive, if you think about it often enough, you will come to believe it. I question my own beliefs. Whatever we can conceive and believe, we will achieve. You want to have a goal that's worth failing for. Don't ask, are you worthy of the goal? Ask, is a goal worthy of you? You're trading your life for it. So we should always be going for bigger goals. And we don't go for bigger goals to get. We go for bigger goals to grow. You and I have more potential than we will ever understand. We've got phenomenal powers. You've got to be persistent. Those who can't take it simply don't make the grade. Those who can take it are bountifully rewarded for their persistence. They receive whatever goal they're pursuing. You'll start to realize there is literally no end to what you're capable of doing. Ideas are intangible forces, but they have more power than the physical brains that gave birth to them. They have the power to live on long after the brain has created them has turned to dust. You've got to believe it in your heart, because until you internalize the idea, it isn't going to happen. The imagination enables you to go into the future and bring the future into the present. You've got to act like the person you want to become. Well, when we do that and do it over and over, you come to believe. I think we've got an obligation to do great work. We're only here for a short time, not a long time. And we've got the faculties and the ability to do great work. I think we should.
When you're pursuing your greatness, you live from a place of the willingness to live life courageously, to be willing to take chances, to become a risk taker, to make impact, to go beyond believing to knowing, to lean not unto your own understanding, to feel within yourself there's some cause, there's something that's bigger than me, but I'm never alone in facing this. There's a presence that will never leave me nor forsake me, and that when you step into that place, more of thee, less of me, that there's a place where we can go within ourselves. There are things that we can accomplish, things that we can do that eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for us. When we surrender life to me, when you're pursuing your greatness, you find something that you love, that you surrender to that something gives you life, and that you turn yourself over to that and allow yourself to be used by life. That, to me, is what greatness is. When I was diagnosed with prostate cancer and I was pondering about my life, am I going to beat this? And I was reading his words for comfort, and he said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. But imagine being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities given to you by life, but you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts. And there they are looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you. Only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what gifts will die with you? As I face inevitable death, what in the meaning and purpose of my life that will not be undone or destroyed when I'm gone? My goal now, we learn, we earn, we pass it on. We should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. I think it's important that people find something that gives their life a sense of meaning and value that drives them, that becomes their magnificent obsession. Because we live in a world where we're told more about our limitations rather than our potential, we go to our graves never knowing who we really are.
How do we develop a sense of belief? What I'm hearing you say is belief is one of the most important things we can have in ourselves.
It is major. It's an ongoing process. I encourage people to read at a minimum of 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day to program your mind. And all of us can do that. We can go to the library and check out books. When I think about Og Mandino, who wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World, he was on the verge of committing suicide. Went to the library, read the book Think and Grow Rich, and his life turned around. Your mindset, your diet, and positive relationships, giving yourself a healing, nurturing environment strengthens your immune system and allows you to stay here longer and do your great work. So you have to program yourself or your mind will be programmed. In order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been. You've got to become a risk taker. This God said, if you're not willing to risk, you can't grow. And if you can't grow, you can't become your best. And if you can't become your best, you can't be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there? When you find something that you love, you will study it. Something that you love that becomes not just confident, but you will become competent on that. I pour myself into it. I lose myself into it because it's not about me. It's about the audience. Ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong and don't stop until you get it. I tell people, you're going to face tough times, but I affirm no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. Develop your communication skills because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So live a life of contribution. Decide that you are going to live your life in such a way, as Horace said, you should be ashamed to die until you've made some major contribution to humankind. And I want to find other people who have that kind of magnificent obsession, who have that kind of conviction about their lives, who want to make that kind of mark with their lives. Can I, with the time that I have left, amplify and train and multiply voices of hope and create a better world? We'll have enough time to do that. And we all have an expiration date. So live your life from a place of love.
I want you to put these two words together because it's going to change your life. Never settle. Never settle. You got to get this in your spirit no matter what. Never settle.
You've been in this place too long. You've come into agreement with this place of brokenness, procrastination, laziness. Rip up the contract with your past and pursue your purpose and fulfill your destiny. Come to the resolve that you will never be this broke or broken again. One thing I know about destiny is that it will avoid you until you are no longer willing to tolerate the place where you have settled. The place called convenience.
Settling is dangerous because it's basically an authorized intruder. When you settle, you're basically saying, I'm willing to accept less than what I deserve.
Stop settling for anything that is beneath you. Stop settling for anything that's not up to your standards. You see, you got to stop disappointing you. And the way you stop disappointing you is to put those two words together. Never settle for anything. Never settle for anybody.
You do not have to settle. Listen to me carefully. You would not settle if you could see what was on the other side of hanging in there. After a while, it turns into regret. After a while, you start resenting the fact that you settled.
When you give up hope, you stop dreaming. My friend, you stop believing. Can I ask you a question? When did you stop hoping? When did you stop believing? When did you stop talking? When did you stop dreaming? What was the day? What was the moment? What happened? Because I'm here to tell you, as a man thinks, so is he. Don't you ever lose hope. Don't you ever give up your mindset.
Your dream is worth fighting for. If you desire to move from dreaming your dream to living your dream, you must recognize your value, and you have to be willing to hold out for what you deserve.
The moment I made up my mind, my life was transformed. And I'm telling you right now, if you get these two words in your spirit, your life will be transformed as well. My friend, hear me. Never settle. Never accept anything less than the goal.
Focus on everything that you have to gain now that you recognize your value, now that you realize that you deserve more.
Hear me. Get your hopes up and don't you ever settle. Never settle. When we were young, we stood in the front of the class in elementary school and we would tell our friends, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a business guy. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to be an athlete. I'm going to be an entertainer. I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. You never stood up in front of that class and said, hey, I'm going to be average.
Never settle.
It's not what I really wanted, but it's fine. It's not what I really wanted, but it's okay. You know, it's okay. It's close enough. To settle for some of you, that's the right thing. Because you don't want to feel pushy. To settle is appropriate because you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself. And here's why. Mama used to say, don't get your hopes up. You know, Daddy used to say, don't get your hopes up. Because I don't want you to be disappointed. Don't get your hopes up. I don't want you to get sad. Don't get your hopes up. And Mama and Daddy said it so much that you stop pushing. I want your family to get their hopes up. I want your community to get your hopes up. But Mommy and Dad didn't want to see you disappointed. But disappointment is a part of the journey. Disappointment is a part of the struggle. Disappointment is when you fall down, you get back up. Well, Mama and Daddy, I'm coming here to contradict you. I know you meant the best. I know you meant well, but I want your kids to get their hopes up.
When I think back on the times in my life when I settled, it was always because I didn't think I could do any better. It was because of the story that I had been telling myself about what I was capable of achieving and who I was capable of attracting. In the end, settling always costs more than waiting. And that's why you have to check your emotions when you start to feel discouraged. Because it's those moments of feeling discouraged or feeling like you're not good enough that makes you feel like settling is your only option.
Talk to your grandfather. Grab an older person. Just hear them talk. And the only thing that pains them is not failure. It's not disappointment. It's regret. And when I talk about never settling, I'm not talking about your food. I'm not talking about your hotel. I'm not talking about anything tangible. I'm talking about your life. I'm talking about your dreams. Don't give up, man. I want you committed to the goal because sometimes your strategy didn't work. That doesn't mean the goal is not attainable.
Don't ever fear starting over.
You need need to change your strategy, not give up on your goal. The goal is still the goal. Let's redirect, let's refocus, let's regroup, let's retool, let's try another way, but don't give up on your goal. Don't ever commit to the strategy more than the result. When you settle, you ruin the movie. Yeah, you heard me. Your life is a movie and you are the author. Your life is a movie and you are the director. Life is a movie. And you need to edit some scenes out. The pen is in your hand, my friend, and you're writing your very own personal movie. And I believe the good guy wins in the end. I believe the good woman wins in the end. I believe that you will win in the end as long as you don't settle. When you settle, you ruin the finale. When you settle, you ruin the final scene. We are all tuned into your movie. We got our popcorn ready, waiting for your grand finale. How is your movie going to end? As long as there is breath in your body, there is a chance. Sometimes discouragement happens. Sometimes fatigue happens. But one thing I know about life, when you get tired, you got to wait for that second wind. When that second wind kicks in, whoa, you might be tired right now, but that second wind is kicking in. I came here right now today to be your second wind, and don't you ever settle. Why? Because I don't want you to have regrets.
You've got to rise above how you feel. It's going to be up to you to take authority over your mind and your emotions. And a lot of times we get frustrated because things seem to be moving too slowly. And when that happens, we start to question whether or not what we really want will ever happen for us. Well, it will happen if you refuse to allow fear and impatience to deprive you of what you deserve. It will happen if you don't allow moments of frustration to guide your decisions.
Think about all the people you know in life that said, man, I wish I didn't quit on school. I hate I dropped out. I wish I didn't get divorced. I hate I gave up. I wish I didn't quit the football team because I could have been in the NFL. I wish I didn't quit. I wish I acted better. I wish I didn't get kicked out of school. I wish I didn't give up on my kid. I wish. That is regret.
Never settle.
There's still time. Never settle. There's still time. What are you working on right now? Because sometimes in life, all you got is that one thing. God gave you one thing to do. That's all you got is that one thing. I know life will knock you down. I know life can be tough, but you are on a journey. When you settle, you will always have regret on what could have been, what should have been. I'm going to say these two powerful words one more time. And I want you to hear me and get them in your spirit. Never settle.